Hello, and welcome back to another FPL video. Game week 1 just finished with a 1-1 draw between Spurs and Leicester. To be fair, Spurs should have won that game pretty comfortably, but at the end they missed a lot of chances and Vardy equalized. Vardy had a pretty good chance to make it 2-1 to Leicester, but he missed as well. 1-1 is not a deserved result for Leicester. I think that Spurs should have won. The bad thing about that game is that Bentancur got a very bad injury and Pedro Porro got a slight injury at the end. We will have to monitor how he goes because, as you can see, I already have an injury in my lineup, being Eina. Barco has not played, and if now Porro is out, I will be pretty light in defense, but I think I will manage somehow. We're going to talk about my team in later videos throughout the week, but today I'm going to introduce to you my brand new series, FPL Gems versus Frauds. This series is going to showcase to you some players that are making good steps in the right direction to become popular FPL options, and I'm trying to find them earlier than the other guys. Maybe you've heard most of them so far because after a game week like this one, the good players are just standing out and it's pretty easy to nail them down. But I'm going to make lists every week and I'm going to compare them, so I'm going to pinpoint some players that are having okay fixtures going forward, maybe not the best ones, but still making good impression and good to be targeting pretty early or just keep monitoring. I will mention everything that I have to say about them. Then I'm preparing a list of frauds. Those are FPL players that are pretty high on the um, list that we have them on. So the ownership is very high. I forgot the word, but yeah, the ownership is high, but they're not performing up to par. We will have several players there that does not mean that they are bad picks immediately, but they are on the fraud list and I will be monitoring them quite closely as I need to decide if they're worth investing in. I already have one of the players there, so I need to keep monitoring. Maybe one game is not fair justification to get into such a list, but we can give our thoughts and let's see how this series goes. If you enjoyed and want to support me, please subscribe to the channel. I'm aiming for 1300 subscribers as soon as possible. Let's make it possible. I believe I had a pretty good game week 1. I don't know the points calculated yet, but we'll see after tomorrow everything settles. I'll be preparing my team review and my team selection for the next week and what are my thoughts about the players that are fucked and what I'm going to do with my team going forward. Now let's begin. The first player that is on the gems list, that is Mazraoui. I know you're going to say, okay, he's a brand new player and he needs time to settle. Yes, that's true, but he was in a pretty good position. He made a lot of tackles. I believe those tackles are due to Robinson and Iwobi being very attacking, but still Mazraoui was in the right place. A lot of teams have great left wingers, and if he faces them and he does that well, I don't see him leaving that side. He was brought in order to uh, just make the defense better. And if De Ligt and Martinez start in defense with the wall and Mazraoui on both flanks, I believe that United can become a slightly better defensive side. They've conceded only 0.38 goals, which is a very good number. And yeah, Mazraoui was not heavily involved in the attacking positions as he has a pretty low expected goals involvement, and it felt like he did not get into so much of an attacking threat, but they played with a false nine. They weren't utilizing the cams properly as the cam was moved to the false nine. Then when Zirkzee came on, Mazraoui was soon to leave, so we cannot judge him by one game performance, but for sure he is going to remain on my watch list and I believe that he is going to have a very solid season, but we need to pinpoint when exactly is the right time to get him. Next up on the list is Trent Alexander-Arnold, and here I am admitting a mistake. I was so wrong about him. He is amazing, not only because Liverpool, they will keep some clean sheets and the fixture run. Now they have 4 fixtures next and 3 of them are at home, so that's an even better fixture run. The only away fixture is at Old Trafford, but Liverpool are playing well on that ground several times in the past, so I believe a result can be achieved there as well. But the home games are going to be a pretty good place for Trent to return some points. Yeah, that was a mistake not going for him. I was wondering, without a proper summer break, without a proper pre-season without knowing how the new coach plays. What is going to be the trends positioning? Is he going to overlap? Is he coming inside? Is he mixing it? And the answer is he is mixing it. He was several times on the left, but he was in such a good positions to score goals just on the edge of the box that I feel pretty threatened. Not owning him, I will try to find a solution how to get him immediately. That will take some time, but I think I can cook up something, and I think that I will be bringing him sooner rather than later. But let's see how things go. He got one expected assist. Jota missed a sitter there, and honestly, Trent should have gotten the assist there. The expected goals were not high, but still a pretty solid number. One expected goal in such a serious game. That was the first game. They didn't do very well in the first half, and that's only a second half performance. I quite liked his performance, and the expected goals conceded weren't that high. They were shaky for a bit. Maybe a better side like Brentford and United can punish them, but that's why I have two fixtures to monitor. He's not a hidden gem in any shape or form, but I'm here not presenting to you hidden gems, but players that, in my opinion, are going to go and are playing in such great positions. That list of mine is only consisted of players that are playing in the right positions, in the right teams, and improving them massively. And when Trent moved into midfield, he improved the Liverpool side massively. So I believe that he is going to be so important for that side, and I see him being must pick from 1 point onward. Next up on the list is Brian Mbumo. If Tony leaves, he is going to be the best cheap midfield option under 8 million in my opinion, because he's on pens and he plays as a striker. Yeah, Eze is in that bracket too, but Eze is too highly owned to be considered as an surprise pick. Yeah, Trent was as that, but for me, he was a surprise pick. And Bumo, if Tony leaves, he's amazing. The fixture run is not there for him. As you can see, he has Liverpool, City, and Spurs away. Those are the three worst fixtures to go away so far. But after game week 5 finishes, here the good fixtures begin. Like they have West Ham, Wolves, Ipswich, Bournemouth, and Leicester at home. Those are some easy fixtures, and if they are playing just like they did in game week 1, just controlling a little bit the tempo and then going forward. He had a pretty low expected goal ratio, but the goal involvements were there. He was expected an assist, it didn't happen. They conceded a goal. They were supposed to concede more goals, but still on pens, if Tony leaves, that's going to be an amazing asset like he was last season until Tony came back. I know that now Carvalho is into the side. I believe they brought someone else as well, but still Mbumo is their talismanic player if Tony leaves. Next up on my list is Mituma. He, in my opinion, is looking way better compared to the end of last season. This system suits him as he is very hardworking and he can be involved in the defensive department, and then he can go onto the counter. Yeah, it was a sitter that he scored, so I'm not counting that as a very good chance created and scored, but still he was in the right positions. He is doing well. There is no Europe. I don't know now with Ruter signing what that's going to mean for Poro, not for Poro, for Pedro, sorry, for Welbeck, for Ferguson when he returns, for Mituma, Adingra, Minte. They have a lot of attacking options, and I believe they're going to have a pretty solid season. The first game looked alright. I know that the Everton side is not the hardest to break. The next two fixtures are going to showcase to us how well are Brighton functioning, but still enough time to monitor, enough time to see when he becomes popular around game week 4. We will have way more data and we can analyze properly, but for sure he passed the eye test. Let's see how he improves against a better side. Next up, going to the final player that surprised me a lot was James Maddison. Yeah, still got 78 minutes only, but he got almost an assist expected, and he got an assist. He was so good. He was on every set piece. He was performing well. Yeah, he lost the clean sheet and he was not performing after the 60th minute. But before that, he was the best player on the field. He was everywhere. He was providing the ball left, right, and center. Nothing compared to how last season finished and how bad he looked at the end of last season. But if Spurs don't learn how to close the games, they're going to struggle. Now they have a home fixture against Everton. I'm afraid that Everton are going to get it and Spurs are going to score a lot now. But let's see, it's football, everything can happen. And especially after Arsenal at home, another Spurs player might be needed. We're going to discuss it tomorrow on an extensive topic when I see the proper stats and everything. But for sure, Madison was in great shape and he looked very lively. Bergvall is a rival for him, but I believe Madison just gets the notch. Those were my 5 players that made such a huge impression on me that I was not expecting it. Like the only player that I suspected to do so was Trent. The other 4 boys surprised me quite a lot. Now let's go and see which players surprised me, but in a bad way. First player is Emil Smith-Rowe. As you can see, 0, 0, 0 everywhere around him. They have a lot of expected goals to concede. He got the clean sheet because he was subbed off early, over 60 minutes, which was okay, but that was pretty close to 60 minutes. Let's see against Leicester at home how he is going to perform, but I was not particularly excited how he played. Yeah, he's 5.5, so I'm not expecting miracles, but for the same price, a player like Minte look way more threatening in the brightest position. Yeah, it's sad that he got an injury, but still, I may look to offload Emil Smith-Rowe after West Ham. Maybe I'll keep until Forest, as I will not have enough transfer most probably. Let's see how the transfers plans are going to change during next couple of weeks. But still, I feel like Smith-Rowe has a lot of potential and I hope that he lives up to it. Next up on the fraud list is Kwanzaa, not because he played particularly bad, but because he do not have the trust of the coach. He subbed him off at halftime, only 45 minutes. He lost several duels. That's true, but that was pretty cruel to take him out. I believe that he may receive several more chances, but it's looking very likely that if they're not performing, he's going to be taken out. Next up is Brentford, who are a very physical side, so I don't see Kwanzaa starting. To be fair, I may be wrong, and maybe Kwanzaa just gets back into the frame and it's back into the lineup, but still, I would not feel very confident. Maybe he will get at the end to finalize the game. We'll have to see. But yeah, I wouldn't sell him now as wasting a transfer in game week 2 for a defender, especially if you have a benching options. I don't feel like this is the best way to do so. Just keep him, monitor, monitor, monitor. That's the most important thing in the first 3 games, to monitor how everyone is performing and how they are playing, and then from game week 4 onwards you can start attacking fixtures properly, because the first 3 game weeks before the first international, it's heavy metal football left, right, and center. I was also surprised for 6 clean sheets so far this week. That's quite a lot compared to last season. It's 4, but the bad thing here for me as a non-owner of expensive defender is that the best teams got the clean sheets, while last season it was a little bit hectic and it was a goal conceded for someone, a goal scored for another one. Yeah, I don't feel like this is going to repeat, like Liverpool, City, Arsenal, Manchester United, Brighton still got clean sheets. Newcastle got a clean sheet. So those are the 6 teams that got clean sheets. Those were top 6 teams expected to keep clean sheets, to be fair. So yeah, I was quite surprised. Let's see how it goes, but I do not expect that to continue. I believe when teams are getting more and more accustomed, more goals will go down. Next up, we have Valentin Barco. This guy surprised me so bad. He is 23% owned. As you can see, he has lost a lot of ownership. He's 4 million, so he's particularly a bench option, but now I may need to rely on one of my bench option. If I knew that Barco was not playing, I was going to buy Harold Bellis or Greaves or someone, because now in game week 2 I may not have 3 defenders to deploy, which is an issue. I feel like Barco was benched because Everton are a physical side and they needed someone to bring height like Hinsewood, while Barco is a smaller guy. Maybe against Manchester United and against Arsenal they will deploy him. I don't know. I will need to monitor, but I feel pretty threatened about that situation. I'm not overly happy about that, but it's a 4.0 defender and I'm not going to get my head lost for such a player. Just hold him, see what happens. If he performs alright, it's okay. If he doesn't, again, it's okay. It's 4.0. You are never expecting a lot from those players. It was going to be good that he was the next Livramento from several seasons ago, but by the looks of it, he is going to get rotated quite a lot. Now we need to see, we need to monitor Brighton are a completely new side with a new manager. We don't know how he plays, how he rotates. So it will take some time, but I'm keeping Barco currently. I believe that there is a lot of potential in him and I would like to exploit that potential. Next up is another 4.0 defender that was pretty hyped. He is very low owned, 4% still. He got onto the field, but still he did not play up to speed. He conceded 2 goals, so he lost the point that he came on when they play against top sides. I believe that Ben Johnson might be benched. Yeah, there was an injury and that's why he came on. But yeah, I'm a little bit 50-50 about him. If I am owning Johnson, I would hold him as there is zero reason to take him out currently. If he's not a player that you are relying on, just keep him. He may get more minutes. Some injuries may appear. As you can see, a lot of injuries are happening left, right, and center because of not a proper preseason for everyone. But still, I feel like a lot of things can improve, a lot of things can change, a lot of things can happen. But still, I'm going to remain calm, and unless Haaland is injured or Salah, I'm willing to keep. Yeah, if some one of my expensive attackers, not only them two, is rumored to be injured, I will be thinking. But about to go to rotate 4.5 defender to take him out or to take out 4.0, it's not for me. And yeah, it's not my play style. As you can see, my attacking players delivered quite comfortably. It was not the best returns as they could have gotten more, especially Jota and Haaland and Eze, so 3 attacking returns there, but it could have been way worse, so I'm taking what I got and we continue forwards. And now I'm going to present the last player, and it's a no surprise that this is Nkunku. The thing about him, it's not like that he played bad, but it gets a little bit tricky with minutes. Now, if they decide to play Wavia, Caicedo and Tenzo, that leaves 3 attacking spaces. Palmer is for certain. A striker, being Nkunku, Jackson or Gw2, will be deployed. Now Joao Felix is being rumored heavily to be brought in, so that's one more player there. And then on the left you have Madueke, Mudryk, Sterling and Neto. So I'm a little bit hesitant to go to Nkunku, to be fair. Not so bad against City, but still he might get subbed off early. He might not start a particular game. They have Dewsbury Hall, who is a new signing. So realistically, for 3 places in the midfield, they got 4 players. Nkunku can play that cam role as well, so Nkunku can be rotated a lot, but with him being rotated, I'm not overly excited, to be fair, but we'll see how it goes. We see what changes and what will happen, but for now I'm not overly excited by the prospects of Nkunku. If I'm monitoring him, I wouldn't buy him now. If I own him, I wouldn't sell him, as only after 1 week you cannot say anything about a player. Everyone can have a great game, every team can have a bad game, every team can have a overly performing good game. So let's see more games. The main word for game week 2 is hold and remain calm. Even if some of your 4.5 defenders are not performing, you have not invested 4.5 to earn double-digit holes. You invested them so you can earn double-digit holes upfront, and if that keeps coming, you'll be okay. Let's regroup. Let's hear what the Poro situation is going to be. Let's monitor Aina. We have a lot of things to discuss, a lot of things to consider, but that will be done in future videos. Thank you for participating in this one. I hope you enjoyed. If you think I missed someone, even as a fraud or as a gem to be found, please point it down in the comment section. Thank you for watching, and I will see you soon with more FPL content. But for now, guys, I'll be heading out. Bye.